This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party Live. It's a Travel Tuesday. It's going to be a great day. I am super happy to have you. Thank you for finding the show. I was having all kinds of trouble getting the link up and running and everything together. So I'm glad you found it, and welcome aboard. It's going to be a fun show with a lot of stories that you sent to me today. I've got Teacher Lori stories. I've got Jane O stories. And so I'm happy to include all of those. I will say that I also want to thank the contributors to this show, and I did not do that yesterday. Sometimes, unless I have it written down for myself, I kind of just barrel through the stories and get to the end. But I want you to know that it means a lot to have your support for this show. So, James S., thank you for your recurring PayPal contribution. Jane O., thank you so much for contributing to the show. Wes as well, Scott R., Amy S., thank you all for being part of the engine that keeps the After Party Live running. Much, much appreciated. Let's jump into the stories because I have some interesting things to share with you today. It is Travel Tuesday. We're going to Belgium, so I think that'll be pretty fun. First story, though, I wanted to tell you about is this Cloudflare. I don't know what the heck happened. Weird. A lot of people had issues this morning. About 10,000 people reporting issues linked to internet network services, Cloudflare, on Tuesday morning. A lot of people trying to get on X and Chat GPT and Spotify affected by this major outage. Facebook, Amazon Web Services, Canva, Bright HR, the League of Legends video game, all of these things suffered some outages this morning. The Cloudflare, which is a web infrastructure company, had reports again from 10,000 people saying, "What gives with the internet today?" The first complaints started rolling in at about 11 a.m. with some websites, including X, kind of flickering, coming back on temporarily, then suffering other problems. Cloudflare provides network and security services for a lot of online businesses, and they say about a fifth of all global websites use some of the Cloudflare services. They said that Cloudflare was experiencing an internal service degradation and that some services may be intermittently affected. They're seeing some recover, they say, but you may continue to observe higher than normal error rates as they try to fix everything. So a few minutes ago, Cloudflare said it had implemented the fix after figuring out what was wrong. I don't know. Speaking of tech, though, maybe it's time for just a moment to set your tech down. Put that coffee down. This amazing and funny story comes from Jane O. And it's about this little teeny tiny IKEA bed just for your phone. And it's kind of a play on, time to put your phone to bed kind of situation, that once your phone is tucked in for the night, you don't pick it up again. That is it. So IKEA just made this teeny tiny little bed for your smartphone. And it's hoped that this will help you get a better night's sleep. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I always put my phone on my nightstand at night. I have like a little charging stand that I put it on. Some people say that putting your phone down on your nightstand with the screen facing down makes a difference. But others say, find any excuse to pick it up and keep on a scrolling. But maybe if we had this little teeny tiny bed for our phone, we could put the phone down as if we're putting the baby to bed, right? Don't wake the baby. Don't wake the phone. Kind of cute. I kind of want one. They say if you do use your phone in bed, it eats up a lot of time that you could be getting restorative sleep. And on this show, we've talked about how sleep makes a huge difference in your health. And even when you say, I'm just gonna look for 10 minutes, I'm just gonna play words with friends, what have you. No. Somehow it turns into longer. Have you ever had that feeling when you fall asleep with your phone in your hand and you can you feel it drop on you? I know I'm not alone. Or you find yourself laying on it? Yeah. So the IKEA phone sleep collection is a range of mini IKEA style beds. So there's more than one design that come with a built-in NFC tag so you can keep track of the sleep you're getting, which plays into some kind of new challenge that they have. IKEA is calling it the 7-day phone sleep challenge. So all you have to do is tuck your phone into one of the special beds at night, and their integrated NFC tag will record how much sleep your phone is getting, and hopefully you too. The data recorded in the IKEA app, anyone who lets their phone rest in these little beds for 7 hours each night for 7 consecutive nights gets some type of voucher, about $27. They give the money first in some other denomination, AED. It's $100 AED voucher, which is about 27 US dollars that you can then spend at IKEA. So get some new candles or some new tea lights there at IKEA if you take the IKEA 7-day phone sleep challenge. It's a very cute little bed for your phone. Thank you, Jane O, for that story. It's very cute. Jane O also sends this story about Mobius Rays. This is so beautiful. The pictures from this story in the Oceanographic magazine are gorgeous. There's not a lot of new to the story other than that divers really work to get themselves in a place where they can dive with these Mobius Rays. That swimming with them and their group, even for just a moment, transports you into some completely different realm. The story talks about all these swimming with all these different rays, and it also talks about the phenomenon of these Mobius Rays jumping and leaping from the sea. And the question is asked, why do they do it? Why do they leap out like this? What could they possibly be doing it? Scientists have studied them for many years. They they say this species has so many mysteries surrounding it, such as like this. Why do they leap out of the water? Why do they make sounds similar to the popping of popcorn when they crash back down to the sea's surface? Are they just playing? Are they reproducing? What is going on? And the answer is, according to marine biologists, we don't know. No idea. It's really been challenging to explain the behaviors of the Mobius Rays. There are some theories, but the truth is, one of the reasons they're so fascinating is because we have 0% idea. So, what we do know is if you're a diver and you manage to find yourself amongst the Mobius Rays, it's hypnotic. You can watch them move or above from below. You can observe how the light bounces off their backs like a shimmering pool, and everything disappears. Speaking of putting your phone to bed, emails, deadlines, reels, TikTok, all of these things, nothing exists but you and the rays. They say it's transformational and healing. Super pretty. Hopefully, we just checked out and went diving for a minute together. I kind of felt like I did. I don't know about you. All right. Thank you, Jane O, for both of those stories. And thank you, Teacher Lori, for this one. You know, I love a cave, even though it's Tuesday. But this story is about a city built on a city. Archaeologists discovered the remnants of the lost city of Nia and it was right underneath Sweden's second most populated urban center. This city underneath was abandoned in 1624. Residents just checked out of Nya Lados, and they moved to a more strategic location of Gothenburg, which now is a big city and has more than 1 million residents. They did some excavating, and it shows multiple stages of growth of this city, which sits right underneath the industrial area of Gothenburg's Gamlestaden district. Gothenburg is the second largest city in Sweden. It has been, they say, hiding its past right underneath its present for 400 years. Right underneath the industrial district, archaeologists discovered the remnants of this lost late Middle Ages city, a city that started forming in the 1400s and then was just abandoned in 1624. They reveal a moat, a street with the foundations of homes dotted along its sides, a fortified southern gate. So interesting. They said the evidence showed the area served as an agricultural site as late as the 1400s, that the rampart and the moat were likely built around 1530. They think the early days of this city, Nya Lados, didn't last very long. The settlement abandoned in 1547, and then residents moved to a newly established city. But then people came back to Nya Lados, and they built up the fortifications of the city, rebuilt the southern entrance with a paved stone gate, and it kind of got popular again for a while. They started putting up homes, and then everybody left again. Why? Was it a flood stage? Was it unsafe in some way? Well, the excavation team located ceramics and bones and coins, glass, wooden objects, tools, helping illustrate what life was like in Nya Lados. Apparently, it was full of poverty and misery, is what they think. So after Gothenburg was founded in 1621, everyone checked out of Nya Lados by 1624 and headed to Gothenburg nearby. The city was a border town. The Danish king had control of counties nearby, so Gothenburg had high earthen banks and a moat, which is why people were attracted to move there, because maybe it was a little more safe. And that meant a completely abandoned Nya Lados. Eventually, it faded back into farmland. The rampart and the moat were filled back in. And that was it. It was long forgotten until now. Teacher Lori, thank you for that story. Much appreciated. And what about this one? Teacher Lori also sends this story about the Band of Holes. I think, was that Teacher Lori's story? Maybe not. I think you sent me the Mayan universe. But here's the Band of Holes. See all those holes there? It almost looks like I don't know, some type of machine did it. But no. Pero no, the machine did not do it, as a matter of fact. And it's been a mystery, love a good mystery, as to why. Why are the holes here? It turns out there's some new thinking, some new research suggests that the Band of Holes functioned as a barter marketplace before becoming an accounting system for the Inca. Archaeologists have been trying to figure this one out for decades. All these little dimples dotting the landscape in southern Peru, called the Band of Holes. These little depressions arranged in long, slender grid patterns, and it looks like they were dug methodically and deliberately. But what for? Some people said, oh yeah, ancient astronauts, right? Aliens must have made the holes. Others have said, No, it was defense, used them for defense. Some said gardening. Some said they're little water collectors. See, lots of ideas here. Now enter more ideas. Researchers have come up with another explanation for the little holes. They published a paper in the journal Antiquity. Archaeologists suspect these holes were made about 1,000 years ago and used by the Chincha people as a central gathering place for exchanging food and goods. When the Inca Empire conquered the Chinca about 400 years later, then they took over the site and used it to collect tributes from the local groups. The Band of Holes, by the way, is also called Monte Sierpe. It's about 20 miles east of the city of Pisco in the foothills of the Andes. It's about a mile long, featuring more than 5,200 holes between 3 and 6 feet wide and up to 3 feet deep. We first spotted it when it was first brought to the world's attention in 1931 during an aerial photography expedition in Peru, and National Geographic published the pictures of these shapes way back when. So, researchers recently decided to revisit the mystery by gathering sediment samples and taking high resolution overhead photographs of this site. And they say when they analyzed the samples, they found pollen from at least 27 different plants, including crops like maize and sweet potato, as well as a wild grass known as bulrush that the Chinca people used to make baskets. They say it's unlikely the pollen was carried to the site by the wind, which suggests that humans may have transported plants there. Archaeologists think local groups may have first lined the holes with plant matter before placing various types of goods inside them. They may have used bulrush baskets to carry goods to the site, which then would have functioned as some type of a marketplace. Large numbers of people depositing goods in the holes could have been a way of publicly displaying information about the quantity of goods available as well as the quantity of goods required for a fair exchange. That, according to an archaeologist with the University of Sydney in Australia. The thinking is the certain number of holes containing maize would have been equivalent to the certain number of holes containing another type of good like cotton or cocoa. The drone imagery helped investigate the arrangement of the holes, revealing the slender structure is made up of more than 60 sections separated by strips of land. The blocks contain various numbers of rows and holes. Very interesting mathematical patterns here. Some multiple rows of 8 holes. Some other sections have alternating counts, 8 holes, then 7, then 8, then 7, then 8. So there was some type of intention behind that, they think. Maybe an Inca record-keeping device, which leads them to theorize that the Band of Holes might have functioned as some kind of large-scale accounting device. The evidence, that explanation is supported by some other things they found there as well. But really, we just don't know. Not everyone is convinced about this explanation. So we don't know. The researchers said they can't rule out the possibility the site functioned as a geoglyph or some kind of social technology. I don't know. They don't know. They don't truly know. So the Band of Holes remains a mystery. This is a story that teacher Lori sent over, and it is about the ancient Maya map of the universe carved into bedrock. Here it is. You can see look for the shape of crosses in this photo. Archaeologists say they found an ancient Maya map of the universe carved into bedrock. Among the early Maya, the site of Aguada Phoenix would have been a place for everyone to gather for trade, for socialization, for ritual ceremonies. The early Maya This would have been a place for everyone to hang out. The site is supposedly proof that it didn't take a ruler or mighty empire to raise a monument. So recently, an archaeologist and a team of archaeologists actually started excavating these Maya ruins in the lowlands of what is now Tabasco on the Gulf coast of Mexico. And they say when they started, they really didn't know what was buried underneath. But they kept digging and found this monumental structure that really changes the fundamental thinking about the Maya. This site, Aguada Phoenix, has been covered by jungle for thousands of years. And as the researchers kept digging, they realized they were standing on a sprawling cruciform, which is a cross-shaped pit carved out of bedrock of marl and limestone. And inside this pit were pigments of blue azurite to the north, yellow ochre with geothite to the south, green malachite to the east, and seashells such as Atlantic milk conch and spiny oysters and pearl oysters to the west. There were caches of greenstone artifacts and clay objects like axes covered in red ochre. It was the largest series of cross structures, all nestled within each other, that has been found, some connected to canals, some remained unfinished and complete with a dam that allowed water from nearby Laguna Naranjito to flow through. The thinking is that this site served some type of ritual purpose. Eventually, though, they realized it was a massive cosmogram, a geometric map of the cosmos that laid out the order of the universe. The design showed the ancient Maya saw the world, how they saw the world, brought their calendar to life as well. It was about 3,000 years old and raised questions about the lack of monumental architecture in early Maya civilization. So, along with feasting, the exchange of goods, the ceremonies that were held here, the construction of a cosmogram with the order of the universe likely provided a rationale for a large number of people to participate without being forced to. The study recently published in the journal Science Advances says the development of Aguada Phoenix shows the capabilities of human organization without prominent inequality. This is really cool. A very cool Mesoamerican monument, and we're learning so much more about the culture here. All right, we'll move on to this bone marrow story. The scientists have now made a lab created bone marrow model. It's a bioengineering first. It's a replica of the body's blood factory. It is made entirely with human cells. They are using this, recreating this, the endostele niche for blood formation related to blood cancer's resistance to treatments. They built this new complicated tissue using an artificial bone structure made from hydroxyapatite, a natural component of bones and teeth that makes them hard. Then they used human cells reprogrammed into an important group of cells called pluripotent stem cells. These stem cells were then used to create any cell or tissue in the body and different specialized cell types depending on the signals they receive in their environment. So the stem cells were next to the artificial bone structure. They're trying to mimic what's going on in the human body. So the team guided the cells to produce the diverse type of cells that are produced in real bone marrow. They found their three-dimensional model closely resembled the crucial human endostele niche, less than half an inch in diameter. It's larger than previous systems used to study bone marrow. The hope is the model can help researchers sustain human blood formation in the lab for weeks. They say they learned a great deal about how bone marrow works from mouse studies, sadly, but in this model, it brings them closer to the biology of the human organism. It could even serve as a complement to some of the animal experiments in the study of blood formation, both healthy and diseased conditions. Maybe the lab made system could be used to develop new drugs and therapies to treat blood diseases. So, steps being made in the bone marrow world. I have a study on skyscrapers or high rises. The skyscrapers apparently uh, underwent some research, and it was found that the buildings that have those green roofs on them, that are the rooftops filled with plants, could have a huge impact on microplastic pollution. So the study determined microplastics in rainwater can be filtered out by plant life on green roofs. The report done by Happy Eco News. They say they can capture 97.5% of particles in urban rain. The researchers in China built scaled down models of green roofs and simulated rainfall to test this filtration. They controlled the amount of microplastics in the rain they used, and then they measured how much was left in the runoff. They say the soil and the plants trap nearly all the particles from the water, but the irregularly shaped fragments were the easiest ones to catch. The study said that more research is needed on how to address soil maintenance so that it doesn't become too overloaded with plastic over time and then start releasing that plastic back to the environment. Right now, they're looking for opportunities to do long term field studies to better understand microplastics retention and release dynamics over time. But we know that green roofs are becoming more popular, especially for skyscrapers in cities. They offer benefits to the buildings and apparently to the environment as well. They are known for keeping their buildings cooler by reducing energy costs and control stormwater to minimize damage as well. The research team estimates that the existing green roofs atop buildings in Shanghai could already be trapping more than 56 metric tons of microplastics every year. And that, they say, is strong data that could be leveraged to expand the use of green roofs in cities all over the world. I like green roofs. Sorry, a drink break. They had one at the California Academy of Sciences. They have one at the Amy's Organic fast food restaurant in Rohnert Park. And I think the one in Mill Valley that closed down as well. Those are just a couple that come to mind. All right, we'll do the lotto of the day and then move on to our travel trip together. Lotto of the day. This man won 2 lottery jackpots in 2 days because he decided he's going to change up his strategy. This happened in Maryland. This man had been using family birthdays for lottery numbers, and he said the change in technique earned him 5 grand and then 50 grand the following day. This man's from Baltimore. He says he'd been using family birthdays as an inspiration for lottery numbers, but a lack of significant wins led him looking for a new tactic. Wasn't working for him. So he decided to come up with some new digits. He said, I do it while I'm driving. I clear my mind and then think about numbers. The first that come to mind are the ones I play. And the new strategy paid off. A $5,000 win in a November 11th drawing, $50,000 from a pick 5 drawing the very next day. He said the numbers just popped into his head as he was driving to work. One number at a time. 2, 1, 7, 3, 7. That's just how he came up with the numbers. He said at the next stoplight, he typed them into his phone, And of course, as everyone, he was shocked to learn of his prize. He said, I couldn't sit still. I've been working since 5 that morning, but the thought of $50,000 just filled me up with energy. He says he's going to put his money toward his dream of opening his own auto mechanic garage. He still has a long way to go, he said, but it puts him a lot further ahead. Love it. All right. Oh, I have this story for you too. This one about the little phones. They're called nothing phones, which kind of sad, right? I think I have them for you. Hold on. These nothing phones are said to be super, super cheap, and they are being made available in some other countries. Here's what they look like. Pretty nice, really. I mean, like a regular phone, right? When you think cheap phone, not necessarily what I think of. I don't know. I think it looks good. It's called the Phone 3A Lite. The company's name is Nothing, which is why they call it a nothing phone, because that's the name of the company. The Phone 3A Lite combines unmistakable style, heavy-hitting features, and a seamless software experience at an accessible price, proving they say that innovation and personality doesn't have to come with a premium price tag. They said it's very recognizable, the phone, but subtly different, with an understated, confident styling. The phone is set into a dust and water resistant nano coated glass IP54 casing, revealing an internal aluminum battery frame, and both of those elements were chosen to ensure good durability compared to other entry level smartphones. It has a glyph interface, LEDs embedded into the back of the phone that illuminated in various ways. It's interesting. The operating system serves as the user interface, the Nothing OS 3.5. There are essential key and essential space artificial intelligence tools aboard as well. The battery lasts about 2 days with mixed use and reaches 50% charge in about 20 minutes. So that's nice. Nothing has been around since 2020. It has positioned itself as a design-led disruptor of the consumer technology market. Nothing is the name of the phone. Would you want a nothing phone? I don't know. Interesting. Said to be a lot cheaper. I didn't give a price point. I don't think so. It'll look really quick. I mean, we know iPhones and Google Pixels can be very expensive, deceptively so. Looking at nope. Oh yeah, here it is. Nothing Phone 3A Lite, available in black and white. The prices start at £249. That's how much it starts. So I guess depending on whether you get the memory. Yeah. And there you go. It is time for Travel Tuesday. Oh, that's nice. I can already hear the ocean. Oh, if only we were going to the ocean, but alas, we are not. We are going to Belgium, one of the very few places in the world that I have been. There are a lot of fun things to do here. Among them, embrace the love of castles. There is definitely a Belgian castle culture. So don't fight against it. The land of Belgium has some of Europe's mightiest estates. They have a rich and complex history that has left Belgium with more castles per square kilometer than anywhere in the world. And it is true, as you cruise through, you see an awful lot of castles. There are art institutions as well. in another few places, they say you can find some visitor attractions. Super fun. So, one of the things to do in Belgium is lean into what they call castle mania. There are examples dating from the Middle Ages to the early 20th century. Belgium awash in castles. Bouillon Castle in the Ardennes, one of the oldest in the country, dating all the way back to 988. Ghent's imposing Gravenstein, the one-time seat of the counties of Flanders, is another of the famous examples of medieval Belgian architecture. The Citelle de Namur, reconstructed in the 19th and early 20th centuries, not hard enough, they say, to imagine the effect the original fortifications had on medieval invaders. One of the mightiest castles, the most romantic and grand, Chateau du Bloléal, with extensive French gardens and an illustrious history. The chateau dates back to the 15th century. It was beautiful and it's been rebuilt several times over the centuries by the Deligne family who still reside there. Very beautiful. Next thing on the list, let's go have a beer. I don't think we've ever done that together. Let's go have a beer at one of the more than 2,000 beers on offer at Delirium Cafe. It's a small country, Belgium, but they boast more than 400 active breweries, crafting everything from monk-produced Trappist beers to spontaneously fermented sours like Gueuze. Your first taste of Belgian beer will likely come with the at the bar, not in the brewery. But they say you can't go wrong if you go somewhere like the Delirium Cafe in Brussels with more than 2,000 different beers for you to choose from. So that's pretty fun. You can taste pure bliss in the form of legendary Belgian chocolate. Oh, yes, please, and I'll bring some home. So pretty. When sometimes chocolates just look too pretty to eat. I don't know. The chocolatiers in Belgium are plenty, all competing with each other. You can take a selection. You don't have to buy a whole box, but it's good. It's good stuff. Next thing on the list is discovering the taste of real Belgian waffles, which is kind of rude because what do you think? Do you think that I'm I'm serving or experiencing fake waffles? No. No, no, no. Here it is. These Belgian waffles are mouth-wateringly delicious. Here's the picture of them. So good. Belgian waffles, they're a real thing. They say no roundup of Belgian gastronomy would be complete without the waffles. There are two different varieties, round and heavy and made with caramelized sugar. The Ligue waffle, commonly sold at snack stands and from food trucks. They don't come with any toppings on them at all. Regular, light, and airy, but slightly crunchy on the outside. The Brussels waffle has deep pockets that are perfect for toppings like powdered sugar, whipped cream, chocolate sauce, a piece of fruit, etc. So very cool. How about this? How about we leave the world of waffles and enter the marketplace of Bruges? It's so pretty. Have you ever seen that movie In Bruges? Yeah. This is the market in Bruges. They say it's a medieval masterpiece. A few European plazas outdo this glorious car-free square. It is beautiful. Belgium Market. They say it has a little Hollywood movie pizzazz. There are tall, steel-gabled guild houses, neo-Gothic facades, slow clip cloppings of horses and carriage rides. Super beautiful. They say life has changed the space since the market first opened here in 958 CE. Been a long time. But it's hard to miss the Belfort in the northwestern of the square. Finished in 1486, it is an 83-meter high octagonal tower, being the dominant skyscraper of its day. Sure is nice. That is the Magnificent Market in Bruges. You can get a totally fresh take on contemporary art at the Verbeke Foundation. Here it is. That's kind of cool. Almost like the Exploratorium in San Francisco, kind of. It's a 30-acre former industrial site east of Antwerp, one of Europe's largest private contemporary art initiatives. The Verbeke Foundation's interactive indoor-outdoor exhibits illuminate, then blur the boundaries between art and science. Said to be very beautiful. Just you and the science. Then let's go take a look at the rise of print culture at Antwerp's Museum Plantijn Moretus. That's what it looks like. The very first printing presses in the heart of Antwerp. It's a medieval building and courtyard garden from 1622. Worth visiting just for the beautiful gardens, but it's what is inside the world's two oldest printing presses, priceless manuscripts, and original typesets. This makes it a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A museum since 1876. The cultural highlights include a library dating back to 1640, a bookshop dating from 1700, and rooms lined with cat leather. Not cat leather. Where did that come from? With gilt leather. So cool. Next stop, we're going to celebrate Belgium's comic book culture. Oops. That's not it. I have the comic books. This one painted on the side of a building. And it's funny, when I think Belgium, I don't think comic books, but I'm wrong. Those characters look familiar, right? Since the birth of comic books, Belgians have had a passion for them, and the country has been a powerhouse of comic book creation. Heard of Tintin and the Smurfs? All started in Belgium. There's a nostalgic museum celebrating Tintin's multi-talented creator. They have an intense, inventive, and extensive display. Highlights include models and pictures and source materials assembled by the artist. If you're in Brussels, you can see favorite comic book characters in unexpected contexts during a self-guided comic book walking tour with different trails showing the city's many eye-catching murals. There's a comic arts museum as well, and a celebration of Belgian comic book artists in this comics art museum, which is a beautiful old building. How about going on a little bike ride through the Belgian countryside? I think so. Look how picturesque this is. Really, really pretty and so green. This is a pedal through the homeland of Eddy Merckx, a cycling legend, right near Flanders, where the terrain is flat. So whether you bring your own bike or you rent one, which they have at city train stations, Blue Bike you can rent as well. There are a network of cycling nodes, a system of numbered junctions that guide riders along a safe, picturesque route, allowing you to create your own journey. They say if you want to follow an established itinerary, You can go explore World War I sites with one of the 12 Flanders field routes on your bike. And that brings us to the next thing to do, to learn about Belgium's military history at the key sites around this country. And it's interesting because that's one of the things that struck me the most being in Belgium is everywhere you turn, there seems to be a monument to mostly to World War II, but other wars as well. It's really incredible. It's a strategic location between Central Europe and the ocean, and that made Belgium a key province of larger empires for centuries. Foreign armies invaded, crossed over, conquered, fought over the territory there on numerous occasions. And so there's a lot of memorials to different battles and wars. Memorial 1815 is a showpiece underground museum and a visitor center at the battlefield of Waterloo with an impressive 3D film that sticks you right into the middle of the cavalry charges as Napoleon made his last stand and then lost his diamond brooch. There's a Mons Memorial Museum that covers the city's experience of 2 world wars. And the thinking is that no museum gives a more balanced or moving, user-friendly introduction to World War I history than in the Flanders Field Museum. Beautiful. And that's what it looks like as you learn about Belgium. And thank you for traveling with me. That was Travel Tuesday. Hopefully you had fun. I kind of want to go back to the castle and perhaps, I don't know, partake in a little Belgian chocolate, waffles, and some beer. There has to be a castle event like that, right? There should be. Thank you for playing along on Travel Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. It's going to be a great day on the Mark Thompson Show. Hopefully, Mark gets the power back on. It's going to be all day to get that fixed, so it's going to take a long time. I'm going to go to the chat, see what you guys have to say. Did I say it wrong? What's the difference between picturesque and I will tell you I'm really tired, so if I said words wrong today, I have no idea what's coming out of here. No idea. So I'll take the criticism, bring it on. It's okay. Make fun of me. It's all right. It's okay. I want some chocolate too, Myra. Absolutely. Yeah. You can always make fun of me. Bring it on. I'll take it. I'll take whatever you got. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, John Rothman will come in and we will have Belinda Weymouth on the show as well. So it's going to be a fun one and I hope to see you there. But until we meet again, make it the very best day that you can, the very best Tuesday. And for now, bye-bye. Click like and subscribe.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
And thank you, Jane O and Lori, Teacher Lori, for the stories.